All right, guys, bang, bang, coming to you live, lunch money. While Wall Street's trying to get rich, the rest of us just trying to get our lunch money right. I've got the beautiful Polina here with me, coming to you 12-ish. Why-ish? Because we don't got our shit together a little bit before noon, afternoon, right at noon, or at 5 o'clock. We're going to do this every day. Polina finally getting with the program, got her uniform on, black only.
Only today, because I don't have that many black shirts, and I'm like, I'm not gonna wear the same thing every day.
All right, let's get this off. There's no nonsense today. We're gonna be super serious. Luckin Coffee, what's going on there?
So shares of China's Luckin Coffee plummet 80% after investigation finds that the CEO fabricated sales. How do you fabricate sales?
Well, first of all, Carson Block, shout out, Muddy Waters Research. I've had the pleasure of meeting Carson. He's an animal. He basically, his whole business model is to go find
Muddy Waters Research.
He's the founder of Muddy Waters Research. And basically what they do is they go find companies that they think are frauds. They do a bunch of research. They take a short position. They publish the research and say, hey, we think this is a fraud. And we've got skin in the game. We're actually shorting the stock. The stock's down like 70% or so since they've done that.
Wait, can I ask a dumb question?
Of course. Dumb questions are always excited here.
Excited?
Welcome here. Not excited. Welcome. Whatever. It's Friday. We can do whatever we want.
I think every day is Friday. I don't even know what day it is. Okay. So Luckin Coffee went public last year.
Yes. Fact.
If they fabricated sales in 2019, how did the bankers not catch that during due diligence?
It's a great question. Obviously, there's a lot of questions about who the bankers were and what kind of diligence they actually did. One of the things that I think happened here is they were actually manipulating the order data in their own app. So no matter how you check that data, it looks like there's actually orders there, right? Which then would say, oh, okay, if there are orders, then there should be the revenue. There should kind of be this chain reaction throughout the business. But obviously, if they made up the order data, then it's a complete fraud.
So this is a malicious chain, like manipulation of the data. It wasn't just like negligence.
Yes. Somehow they're blaming the COO, the chief operating officer. I'm not sure what the chief operating officer has to do with sales numbers. So kind of sounds like maybe it was more than just the chief operating officer, but it's definitely malicious or misconduct. And I would be shocked if more people don't get hurt here.
The stock price is down.
Yeah, it's down 70%. Bang, bang. That's what happens, baby. If you risk your capital, you can lose it. Don't make bad bets. All right, payroll data. What's up with the payroll data?
Make good decisions, guys. Payroll data.
That's what she preaches to me all the time. Make good decisions. Okay. By the way, while she's pulling this up, do you see the Oreos? We got chips. We got some wine. This is what our life is now gone to. Go ahead.
Guys, he spent like 10 minutes before this arranging that.
Hey,
why did you do that?
It's like a little show, just let them know I'm eating healthy. Go ahead.
Popcorn is not healthy, neither are Oreos. Okay, so U.S. payrolls plunged 701,000 in March amid the start of a job market collapse.
Do you know what payrolls are?
Not necessarily. What the hell is a non-farm payroll?
Well, it involves all the payroll that isn't from farm industry.
Why would we specify that?
Because the farm industry is a very different type of job than the rest.
Oh, interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, you learn something every day on Lunch Money. See what's happening here? She's getting educated. So basically the whole thing is there's a massive job collapse, right? We got the unemployment numbers yesterday, 6+ million, I think 6.6 million people filed for unemployment numbers. Payroll is another way to measure kind of the monthly job gains and losses. And the reason why that's important is because a lot of times you can actually look at these data points and understand where's the economy headed. It's no shock to anybody. The economy's obviously suffering. We're all sitting our asses at home.
Wait, so what's happening with the farm payrolls then?
Well, I don't know. I didn't look at those numbers. But the whole idea here is if the numbers go down, right, that means that less people have jobs. There's less people on payroll. Obviously, the economy's going down.
Not looking good, guys.
Not good, not good, not good. All right, speaking of better news, work from home jokes. We've got some awesome ones for you. We actually spent the morning looking at all these ridiculous things people are doing while they're sitting on their asses at home. And the first one.
This guy, his girlfriend, is it his wife? No, his wife. His wife was doing a live TV report outside in the backyard and he crashed it.
Well, he's a comedian. She's a live news reporter.
Yeah.
And she was doing it in the backyard. And he on TikTok was like, oh, shit. You telling me my wife's in the backyard on live TV right now? And he gets his ass up and he walks out and he literally goes behind her and he goes, is this live? Is this live? Oh shit. Hey mom. Hey mom. And then he runs out and just completely disrupted the whole thing.
Yeah, but it turns out people were like, oh my God, he's so irresponsible. That's so awful of him. But it's just a joke. They were trying to kind of go viral on TikTok. She did it during a commercial break.
But I feel like that's the whole point of the work from home. People kind of understand, hey, you're there, you've got your kids, you've got your significant other, right? And like that stuff is now acceptable because everyone knows that we're stuck at home.
Yeah, like yesterday he was doing a video interview with Josh
Constantine from TechCrunch.
And I was coming inside and
just walking in the background like a creep. You were just trolling through the video.
I didn't know the hall like that.
It's all right. I didn't mind.
So anyway, you just see me like Bigfoot in the background.
All right. What is the other one? What else?
So
going
what
on?
I was gonna say is it's funny because like I'm sure you guys, if you live with your significant other, have listened to their calls and Zooms and whatever. And it's really funny because when he does a call, he'll pace around. And then he'll use words that I genuinely didn't know that you knew.
First of all, I'm exercising. It's not pacing, it's exercising. I'm getting steps in. You know, you got to move around a little bit, do some exercises. That's how you stay fit in quarantine. Go ahead.
How much exercise did you do yesterday?
I moved multiple times from room to room. So, you know, I can count the steps. It's fine. I have a watch.
So he'll be like, so for the words that I didn't know you knew, he'll be like, it would behoove you. I was like, first of all, how do you know what behoove means? And has anybody used that word in the last 50 years? You
think I'm uneducated, but what happens is I have a great articulation and command of the American language. It's called English. Let's go. All right. So the whole reason why you're bringing this up is...
Wait, why am I bringing this up?
Because the woman who tweeted it went viral.
Oh, so there was a tweet.
You see, I have to carry the show. Like, I got to put the show on my back and just walk down the street with her because she keeps forgetting everything. Go ahead.
This is what I do. So this woman shared this tweet and it went viral. She said, a funny thing about quarantining is hearing your partner in full work mode for the first time. Like I'm married to a let's circle back guy. Who knew that if you said circle back?
Let's circle back is not in my repertoire. That's not in my my language.
And then
what you say weird shit on the phone?
What do I say?
I don't know. You like giggle.
Oh, no, I don't. Oh, so then somebody else said, my wife works from home full time, but I remember the day I realized she was the one more question person at the end of the meetings. I was shook. Is that a deal breaker? What would be a deal breaker?
Well, right now a deal breaker would be if you started coughing again. I've checked, guys, just so we're clear. Yesterday she was clearing her throat. She was not coughing. We had a whole conversation about it. There won't be any more coughing on the show because we have to have social distancing. But a deal breaker would be like if you hit me with like well, we can explore synergies. If you use the word synergy,
good to know.
Be out. I'd be out. All right, private equity. What's going on in the private equity world? This is your domain. I'm excited. It's Friday. I feel like I have like tomorrow off.
He's like doing something here with the.
Come on, let's go. Let's go. We don't have all day. 20 minutes or less.
I can't find the link. Okay, so private equity.
She's got the notes. I got the bullshit. Go ahead.
Private equity lobbyists were involved in the push for a $500 billion coronavirus bailout fund.
So everyone's getting bailouts. Literally everyone wants a bailout. The movie industry wants a bailout. The airlines want a bailout. And private equity wants a bailout. Think about this. The people who have all the billions of dollars that they're supposed to be investing, they want a bailout as well for their portfolio companies. Why? I don't know. But you know what I do know is that small businesses are not getting great bailouts right now because nobody can get the applications done on the site. The banks aren't processing it. So private equity wants bailouts, but small businesses ain't getting the help that they need. What do you think about that?
Wow. Well, obviously I don't like it.
Why don't you like it?
I hate they have a lot of money and then the small business guys don't.
Yeah. Well, here's the big problem, I think, with this whole thing is so small businesses, I think it's like $350 billion have been earmarked for small businesses in a couple of different programs. The biggest one is this like payroll protections, a PPP. And the whole strategy is let's put a bunch of money into an account. Yeah. Then we're going to have all these banks process tens of thousands of loan applications. Yeah. And then those banks will help the government facilitate those loans. The problem is that now we're ready to go. Today's supposed to be day one on Friday. Let's take the applications.
Let me guess, the banks aren't ready.
Not only are the banks not ready, here's even worse, is that the banks, some of them are saying the government didn't give us enough guidelines. Therefore, we're actually not going to process at all. So we're not going to be helpful here. We're not going to take these applications. And so what ends up happening is the people who get hurt the most are the small businesses.
Yeah.
Every single day that money is not in the hands of a small business entrepreneur or a business owner, there are more people being laid off and there's more businesses that will not come back.
I mean, at this point, how much, I mean, this can last for months. What are small businesses supposed to do? Even if they get those loans, like, can you survive 6 months?
Well, that's the whole thing is some of the loans, depending on how much it is, could cover you for a longer period of time. But yes, if they don't get access to the capital, of course they're going to lose, right?
Yeah.
They just don't have enough money on their balance sheets. And especially because you don't know how long it'll last, right? If you're a restaurant, you just shut down. You don't know, hey, do I have to pay my employees for 2 more weeks, 4 more weeks, 3 months, 6 months? If it was just, hey, 2 weeks, like you might be able to figure out, okay, how do I get over the next 2 weeks? But when it's unlimited, you don't know.
Let me like get this straight. So the government is giving this money to the banks and telling them to give it to them?
Without getting into great detail, think of it as the banks are basically helping the government facilitate all of the transactions, right? Or the applications. So if you're a small business owner, I'm a bank, you come to me, you put in the application, I help basically underwrite, make sure that you are who you say you are, you're doing it with the money that you say you are. Hopefully you're not just going to get the money and then shut down, right? Because that's a whole other issue. And so the banks are in a better position to do that than obviously the federal government.
Yeah, got it.
Makes sense?
Yep.
All right, moving on. Central Park, New York City, baby. NY. What do we got?
So obviously the hospitals in New York City are completely overwhelmed.
Fact.
So they have built a new 68-bed facility in tents in Central Park.
Well, so they're doing this all over New York City. They've done the Javits Center, which is a big conference center. They turned into, I think, 1,000-bed hospital. They've now got this one in Central Park that's literally in tents. But here's the thing to me, right, is like it's a war zone in these hospitals. They don't have enough PPE. They're literally being overwhelmed. Personal protective equipment. Okay. Bam, you see that? It's like I know what I'm talking about. All right, PPE. And then what ends up happening is they don't have the ventilators that they need. They don't have enough actual hospital beds. So what happens if somebody comes in sick? You don't have a bed to put them in. So what they need to do is they need to expand the capacity that they have. So you can only do so much in a hospital until the point where literally you just got beds lined up next to each other.
That's crazy.
So you got to go to somewhere else. So the Javits Center, big space indoors. Well, you eventually run out of places like that. So they're looking at hotels, but then also they've set up tents. And so what ends up happening is this looks like a war zone.
Yeah.
You literally have in your hospitals, you just have absolute chaos and you don't have the equipment that you need. And on top of that, you're literally setting up tents. What do you do in Iraq and Afghanistan during wartime? You set up tents.
Really?
Like, of course, where else are you going to build a building, right? You set up a tent and you create a medical facility there. That's basically what they're doing in the middle of Central Park. Now it's in Central Park, so it looks nicer than Iraq or Afghanistan, but it's still a medical facility built in a tent where they're trying to literally take care of Americans on our own soil because of the virus.
Crazy,
right? Did you also see the Patriots? I hate the Patriots. Literally, I hate the Patriots.
I like the Patriots.
With like so much disdain. I respected them much more when they had Tom Brady because he is probably the greatest quarterback of all time. So I respect him, but I don't like him. They took Jonathan Kraft and Robert Kraft, the owner and his son. There was a bunch of personal protective equipment, PPE, in China, and they needed to get it back to the U.S. And the U.S. was trying to figure out how to do that. And they stepped up and they said, well, we've got this big ass private commercial jet. Mm-hmm. And they sent the Patriots plane to go pick up all the equipment and bring it back. But the only problem is it came back and had the Patriots logo and everything on the plane when it landed. So there's all these pictures of it. I wish it was the Giants. That's fine. But at least they got the equipment back.
Maybe if the Giants would win a game.
Hey, listen, 2 Super Bowls in the last 12 years. We'll take it. Don't worry. We're going to win another one. All right, last one, lunch money. We got a little treat for you guys. If you've been paying attention all the way to this point, we are going to do something today. We're going to give $100, $100 to one person to help them during this time. In order to do this, you have to do some things for us to enter the competition. Is it a competition or a contest? Is it a giveaway?
No, it's just the thing.
It's just nice. Do we just call it nice? Lunch money. And everybody wants some lunch money. Go and get a lunch or dinner on us. So here's how this is going to work. You have to take the URL from the YouTube, go tweet it with the hashtag lunch money, and include one thing you learned in the show this week. So in order to be entered to win the $100 free lunch money, you have to take the URL, go tweet it, use hashtag lunch money, and tell us one thing you learned this week from the show. Extra points. You will win favor with me if you make fun of Polina in the tweet.
Wait.
What?
We didn't talk about Cuomo's nipple ring thing.
Oh, wait. Okay. So listen, there's $100 for free. Anybody can get it. You just have to tweet the URL to the link or the URL to the video and use hashtag lunch money and include one thing you learned. You'll get entered. On Monday, we'll announce who won. But Polina, to close out the show, wants to talk about, was it Andrew Cuomo's nipple ring? I literally cannot believe we're talking about this right now.
I'm not sure though. If somebody can like figure this out. So
are you opening an investigation for the internet sleuths?
Yes.
Oh my God. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so there's this tweet that of a picture of Cuomo wearing a t-shirt in what appears to be a nipple ring. Oh, this is not.
He's the governor of New York. Let's start there. This is the governor of New York. He has a polo shirt on, like a golf shirt. He has no undershirt on, and around the nipple region.
Do you wear an undershirt with your polo shirt?
No, all I know, well, most people do, but all I wear is black shirts, so I don't have to deal with that. See, do you see how I've efficiently made a wardrobe?
But anyway, so there are questions and there are no answers. So I think this is a good way to close.
Joe's going to pull up a photo. If you guys can help Polina figure out, does Andrew Cuomo have a nipple ring or not? She'll be super excited.
I'm very curious.
In the meantime, go take the URL to the video, go tweet it, include hashtag lunch money. One thing you learned from the show, we'll pick one person, give them $100. They can go get dinner or lunch on us to help make the quarantine better. Other than that, while Wall Street's trying to get rich, the rest of us trying to get our lunch money right every day during the week, 12-ish. Why-ish? Because we don't have our shit together. Before noon, afternoon, right at noon, or at 5 p.m., you can come here. You can learn a little bit. You can laugh a little bit. But most of all, you'll get plenty of eye rolls from her as she deals with me. Any last words for the weekend?
It would behoove you to stop doing that.
I've been playing with this over here on the side. That's fine. Do you have any last words for everyone before we go?
Have a great weekend and be nice to your friends.
We'll see you guys on Monday.